Hello, friends. It's me, Sherm. If you don't know me, hello. Yes, I just said my name. My name is Sherm. This is Green, my 1977 Volkswagen Bus. I am currently restoring her so that way me, my wife, and our two cats can travel around the entire U.S. That is the thing. That is the thing we're doing. Recently, I have started working on my bus every single day to try and get her ready for a trip around the entire US. And I wanted to go over everything we've done in that first month. Right now, I'm actually trying to make this like a weekly thing. So, those of you who don't like the short form content can actually watch the long form and you can get kind of the same information about what we've done. Maybe even get a little bit of a sneak peek on what we're doing next week, too. So, yeah, we're going to go through this. So, what we've been working on recently is underneath here. This is where all of my efforts have been poured into, and it is looking phenomenal. Let me show you this. I'm going to scoot my boot up underneath here. I can't really sit down anymore because the front suspension's right here. Um, so, I'm going to kind of sit right here, kind of show you everything. I don't know if this is picking up light all that well. It is a little dusty under here, I will say, because I've been doing a lot of stuff on the top side, which I'll show you guys that in a minute. But this past month has been focused on getting the front underneath here completely patched up and rust free. This black paint here, a lot of people have been asking me what this is. This is POR 15 rust inhibiting paint. So far, I'm happy with how it's looking. I mean, it looks really good. I have heard a lot of people talk about either, hey, it's lasted for 10 plus years. I absolutely love this product and I will always be using this forever. And I've heard some people say that it's gone away in a year and it started rusting and peeling off like sheets of paper. So we'll end up seeing how this turns out. But to combat that, I was thinking about possibly coating it with like a bed liner. I don't know. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know y'all's opinions on POR 15. I'd love to know. But right now, I'm really happy with how it looks. There are a couple little drips here from brushing it on. It was kind of difficult to brush on in some places, so I had to kind of shove the paintbrush in there real good, and it ended up dribbling down. And that's like really my only concern is that everything else turned out really nice. It's a nice thicker coating. I mean, I'm scratching it with my fingernail right now, and nothing. Seems pretty good to me. With my front suspension here, I did redo this before I started my daily series. I painted this with a direct to metal black paint. I sprayed this on, and we have assembled it in the bus. I tried doing it on the tabletop, I tried doing it on the bench. It would not go together. These control arms here were such a pain. Let me show you those. It's a better angle for this right here because I want to get me in here because I'm a part of the story now too. I can actually talk to you guys like in person recording this. This is interesting. So, she's really dusty again. I've been doing a lot of stuff on the top side, which I'll give you guys a sneak peek at that later. I keep saying that. I keep saying that. I don't need to keep repeating that. I'm getting used to this like in real time talking to the camera because usually I script out my stuff. So let me know what you guys think of this kind of style of video. I'm getting used to it. I'm getting used to it, but I want to make more of these guys, like one a week for you. So let me know. Anyways, the main problem with putting this front suspension together was these upper control arms. Trying to get this guy in was an absolute pain in the backside. So what you have to do is there's a torsion rod that sits inside of here that buckles down right here, in that little worm screw. There's a little indentation on the torsion rod, and you need to get this armature fit in because it's got like a little keeper on the inside of here that it only fits the torsion rod in one way. So you got to fit it on there, which honestly the angle is like down here this way. So you fit it on there, it won't go all the way in because then you have to lift it up against the pressure of the torsion rod to get it over this stop here. And this is where the rubber bump stops go. So if you end up, riding along and then you end up bottoming out on your suspension, it'll hit a rubber stop instead of just direct metal on metal, which I've got the bottom bump stop in right here. I can't get the top one in because I have to put this on the ground first. So this guy, half cocked out right here, really, about like this. You have to put the pressure on it up with it like halfway inside the keepers in here. And then you got to smack, 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 smack to get it to pressure in. That was an absolute pain. I ended up doing that on both sides, which was a miracle. I honestly didn't know if I was going to be able to do that or not. Hey, look, a piece of paper. Boop. And we managed to do that, which is a huge freaking accomplishment. This and then pressing in the ball joints was something I was really worried about with the suspension. I have never rebuilt one of these before in my life, and now I have. Really freaking cool to say that. So, that taken care of. The bottom control arms went in stupid easy. I still need to get the gas struts that sit here. I'm probably going to end up ordering those later. But we got the spindles in. Someone said that I didn't torque these on right, and you are correct. I did not torque these. I do not have a torque wrench at the moment. It is on the list of things to buy. I actually went to Harbor Freight, took a look around, and even there, they're expensive. They're like $100+ for a torque wrench that I'd want to get. So it's like I got to save up a little bit of money for that. So yeah, but they are installed on here. I also figured out I forgot a piece that's gonna sit right here, so I'm gonna have to take this off anyways and put on like a little keeper for the brake line, whatever's. Something else I'm really proud of is all of the metal work that I've done recently. I started off working on the passenger side bay completely here. So we had rust all along this whole section here. We had to replace this tiny little square as well, had to replace that guy. And then first thing we actually did was replace this whole top of the hat channel and the inside of the hat channel that bumps up against this. I'm guessing that water got in here, flicking up from the wheel, just kind of throwing back into there. And it rotted it out. It was terribly bad. I'll put a picture or a small video of what it used to look like right now. That was crazy. We then also had all of the front cab floor here. I'm trying to hide a little bit of the progress right there. I'll show you all that in a minute. We'll focus on that. But this whole floor was absolutely rotten. I had to cut all of this out. We cleaned everything up, slapped the new floor in. It looks incredible. I'm so excited with how this all came out. All of these welds we just recently cleaned up. All of this. I had to replace this step. We ended up doing that pretty early on as well. You can see there was the floor out during my old clips of me filling this guy in. So it was a little section like right here and then this whole step here. Now, bending this into shape was really interesting. I literally just used this little 2x4 sitting in the ground, and I would come out here and I would just like hammer and dolly. This was my anvil, and it worked really well. I'm actually really happy with this. Super cheapo option if you're looking to do any kind of metal work like that but can't afford like a couple $100 anvil, which they get expensive, or any of the metal shaping tools that you see. Something else I really want to recommend to you, if you're doing crazy metal patches like me and you're getting in here and you have like these kind of wide open sections, buy a whole sheet of metal from a local dealer. I went to Home Depot and I bought actually I didn't buy it because I thought it was kind of expensive. I saw a 2 foot by 2 foot sheet of 16 gauge steel. It was like 60 something dollars. I went to a local dealer here in my location. I bought a whole 4x8 sheet of 16 gauge steel, $74. It was crazy. So I got so much. I have 3 extra sheets. I had to cut down the 4x8 sheet into like 2 foot by 4 foot sections, long ways, just so I could fit it in the Jeep. And oh my gosh, I saved so much money with that. I still have so much sheet metal. Like, let me show you right now. Like this whole sheet right here, this is still good. This is just surface rust. I clean it off, but you can see how much metal I've used from this. It's not all that much. This is a 2 foot by 4 foot sheet, basically, and I've only used this much. And I've still got 3 sheets of these in the shop right now. Absolutely crazy. So, I highly recommend you do that if you're doing any kind of large metal repairs like this. Buy your metal in bulk because it's not that much more expensive. All right, so here with the bus, I'm going to use the flashlight kind of like a little Disney wand here. We can think of the entire bus in 9 to like 7 separate sections. I'm going to do 9 just because it's easier to explain it this way. So you have like the bottom section here in the front, which I call zone 1. Zone 2 is underside the cargo floor and stuff. Then zone 3 is like the engine bay. This is where like all the guts and all of the mechanical stuff of the bus runs. So I want to get all of these finished first so that way we can get her running again, or at least have a rolling chassis that's solid. So then we can start working our way into zone 4, which is kind of the cab area, so we can get her drivable, and that includes the windshield and everything. Zone 5 is the whole like cab area in here, and then zone 6 is like above the engine bay here. And then 7, 8, 9 is just kind of roof sections, but that's really all just one section. So you can consider it all one section, but to keep things simple, 1, 2, 3, yeah, or 7, 8, 9. It just makes things easier to divide up, makes things easier to focus on, and prevents us from getting burnt out because I have experienced burnout so much on this project. It's crazy. The only reason that I've been able to keep from being overwhelmed this time around working on it daily is I set zero expectations for myself. The only expectation is that I come out here, period. I come out here and I try and do something. Some days I literally just clean up, I pick up all my tools, and I go back inside. It sometimes takes me like 10 minutes. Every day isn't crazy progress, but it's always progress at the end of the day. It's always something that I can say, hey, I went out there and I did something to the project. And if any of you guys are working on your own stuff, first off, leave that down in the comments. I love hearing about you guys' projects. And then, second of all, I highly recommend trying to do that yourself. Just try and set out like 5 minutes to go and like into your garage or out into your yard, or to sit down with your tools, clean them up, something. Just try and get out and look at it. It has worked wonders for me. And in a month, I literally got the entire front underbelly of the bus done. Man, I am all over the place. I can't remember where I started this or what my points were. I'm really scatterbrained, y'all. I'm very scatterbrained, so talking in real time is a little bit difficult for me. Um, you're kind of following me on a roller coaster here. I don't know if that's fun for you guys or not, but I'm going to get back to some of the stuff that is for next week. It's clean. It's clean. You'll see all the footage of me cleaning this up later, but man, I still need to do a little bit of sandblasting in some of the sections here. But this and this, all clean, all beautiful. Inside of here, a little difficult to get to. So I'm hoping that the sandblaster will reach in there a little bit. I'm wanting to put the same kind of coating, the POR 15, inside of that little section and the other one, just because it'll be easier to brush it on than it would be to get a paint gun in there. And so that's what we're going to deal with for that. I think that'll make things a little bit easier. It'll also be a good contrast, the black on the inside, and then we're looking to prime all of this, but it's going to go back white. Eventually, it's all going to go back white, and I want to paint the entire inside of the bus white. Just so it'll make things a little bit bigger feeling on the inside, because this bus is tiny. It's really tiny. So once we get this front section here done, we're going to start focusing on the back section. But keep in mind, guys, I still have a 9 to 5. I have regular work hours. Right now, I'm actually in the middle of transitioning jobs. So I do have a little bit more time off. I've got about a week. I'm trying to kind of organize my entire life here. I'm trying to get ahead on content, and I'm trying to do some extra things for you guys. And I'm working on some I won't say. I won't say. But there's some cool, interesting stuff coming down the pipeline, and it's all thanks to you guys. So thank y'all, freaking over the moon. Thankful for you guys coming and watching this little journey of mine. So don't forget, do not forget to work on your own project. And follow to see me turn this bus into a mean green van life machine, baby. All right. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.